Welcome back to TCB4EAP. I'm your host, Jessie Mallory, and today we're taking a closer look at a defining moment in music history, how Elvis Presley went from an unknown truck driver to recording That's All Right, thanks to the vision of one man, Sam Phillips. This isn't just a story about talent, it's a story about timing, instinct, and a phone call that changed rock and roll forever. Let's rewind to the early 1950s and explore how Sam Phillips discovered Elvis Presley and how that moment led to a sound the world had never heard before. The man with a vision, Sam Phillips. Sam Phillips was no ordinary record producer. He was the founder of Sun Records and the Memphis Recording Service. More than that, he was on a mission. Sam believed that the power of Southern music, the raw, emotional, energetic sounds of black rhythm and blues, could break barriers. Sam Phillips recorded and released recordings by various artists, including B.B. King, Howlin' Wolf, and Jackie Brenston and his Delta Cats. But in the racially divided 1950s South, many of those artists weren't getting radio play. Sam would say, "If I can get a white guy that sounds black, I'd be a billionaire." That's where Elvis comes in. Summer 1953, Elvis walks into Memphis Recording Service. In July 1953, an 18-year-old Elvis Presley walked into the Memphis Recording Service on Union Avenue. He was quiet, polite, and said he wanted to make a record for his mother. It cost him around $4 to cut 2 songs, My Happiness and That's When Your Heartaches Begin. Elvis left with his acetate and no promise of anything more. But the receptionist, Marion, who was Sam's assistant, remembered the kid, especially his voice. She jotted a note on his file, "Good ballad singer. Hold." That small decision would prove monumental. Nearly a year passed. Then in June 1954, Sam Phillips remembered Elvis, possibly at Marion's urging, and gave him a call. He asked if Elvis would come back in to record a few ballads. Sam wasn't blown away by those sessions, but he heard something. It wasn't fully formed yet, but it was there, raw talent, energy, and emotion. Elvis was more than excited to get into that studio again. Enter Scotty Moore and Bill Black. To help develop Elvis's sound, Sam brought in 2 musicians from his local orbit, Scotty Moore, a clean-cut, versatile guitarist, and Bill Black, a bassist known for his slap-style rhythm and wild personality. Scotty wasn't entirely sold at first. He thought Elvis was kind of shy and rough around the edges, but Sam urged them to get together and see what happened. They had a few casual rehearsals, but things didn't really click right away, until July 5th, 1954, the breakthrough session. On the night of July 5th, 1954, Elvis, Scotty, and Bill were back at Sun Studio, trying to record some slow ballads. It wasn't working. Everyone was frustrated. Then, just as they were about to call it a night, Elvis started messing around with an old blues song, That's All Right Mama by Arthur Crudup. He started strumming his guitar and singing it in this upbeat, rocking tempo, totally off script. Scotty and Bill jumped in, and the energy lit up the room. Sam Phillips, who had been listening from the control room, rushed in and said, "What was that? What were you doing? Let's do it again." After a few takes of trying to get the right feel and arrangement, they finally got their take. And in that moment, the sound that would become rock and roll was born. The first airplay, Dewey Phillips' Red Hot and Blue. Just 2 days later, on July 7th, 1954, legendary Memphis DJ Dewey Phillips played That's All Right on his WHBQ radio show, Red Hot and Blue. The phone lines lit up. People wanted to know who this singer was, and many were surprised to learn he was white. That was the moment Elvis went from unknown to local sensation. And it all started with a paid demo, a producer's vision, and a late-night jam session that changed everything. Sam Phillips didn't just discover Elvis, he recognized something others didn't. He heard potential, and more importantly, he had the instinct and courage to try something new. Without Sam Phillips picking up the phone, without Marion writing Good Ballad Singer, Hold, and without that moment of spontaneous creativity at Sun Studio, the history of music might look very different. Thanks for joining me for another episode of TCB4EAP. Be sure to subscribe, share this episode, and leave a comment. Until next time, I'm Jessie Mallory, reminding you, keep taking care of business.